Okay, so question number 16. Here's a pie chart giving me some information about votes received by 3 students in an election. Amy, Paul and Phaedra. The students received a total of 84 votes. How many did Amy receive? Now Amy is half of the pie chart, so she must have received half of 84. So to half something, I just divide by 2, which I can do on my calculator. She received 42 votes. In the pie chart, the angle for Paul is 60 degrees. What fraction of the votes did Paul receive? Give your fraction in its simplest form. So he received 60 out of, there's his 60, he's out of the whole thing, which we know is 360 degrees all the way around. So that's my fraction, which gets me 1 mark, but simplest form. So I'm looking for a number that goes into here and goes into here. You could half it, but I've spotted that they both end in 0. So I'm going to divide by 10. And that gives me the top is 60 and the bottom is 36. Now I'm looking again to see if there's a number that goes into here and goes into here. And there is, it's 6. You might spot different numbers and that's fine, you should still get the same answer at the end. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 36 divided by 6 is 6. So 1 out of 6 is the fully simplified answer. If you've got 2 out of 12, then you didn't half it quite enough times. Question 17. We've got some prices of apples, oranges and tomatoes. Emma buys 1 kilogram of apples, 2 oranges and 3/4 of a kilogram of tomatoes. Work out the total cost. Okay, so apples are £2 per kilogram and she bought 1 kilogram, so that must mean she spent £2 on apples. 2 oranges. Oranges are 34p each, so I need to work out what that would be for 2 lots. So I could either do 34p add 34p or 34p times 2. The thing I must do is type it into my calculator as 0.34 because it's no pounds, only 34 pence. So 68 pence in total. And 3/4 of a kilogram of tomatoes. Now, I could use the cross here, or I could use my calculator to work out 3/4 of a kilogram, and a kilogram is £2.40. So I could type that into my calculator to get £1.8, which must mean £1.80, and I need the total cost. So I've got £2, 68p and £1.80. So when I type it in, I must type it in using decimal points, typing this in as 0.68 to give me a total of £4.48. Question 18. If P is 2 and Q is 4, work out the value of 3P plus 5Q. 3P means 3 times P, and P is 2. Add 5. 5Q means 5 times Q, and Q is minus 4. So I'm just going to type all of that into my calculator, because then I hopefully won't make a mistake with negative numbers, and I've got negative 14. Question 19. Colin goes to Switzerland. The exchange rate is £1 is 2.3 francs, and he changes £400 into francs. How many francs should he get? You could just have realised that this is a multiply question, and you could times by 400, or you could use the cross. If you're ever not sure, the cross is always a good thing to try. So I'm going to use that. I've got pounds and francs as my units. So I know £1 is 2.30 francs. So I need to put those next to each other in the cross and in the right columns. He changes £400. So in the pounds column, I need 400. And now I'm going to divide and then times. So on my calculator, 400 divided by 1 times 2.30 equals 920. So that's the answer. If you did it a different method, that's fine. In Switzerland, Colin buys a hat. The cost of the hat is 46 francs. Work out the cost in pounds. I just need to use the cross again. So I've got pounds and I've got francs. And I already know that £1 is 2.30 francs, like before. The cost of the hat is 46 francs. So in the francs side, I need 46. Then I divide and then times 46 divided by 2.30, 20. So it must have cost £20. Question 20. Use your calculator to work out the value of this. Write down all the digits from your calculator, give your answer as a decimal. So this is testing. Do you know how to use the fraction button on your calculator? So I'm looking for this button here, and I'm going to type that to get my fraction up. Now, I don't think you can see my calculator, but as long as you've used that button, everything else you just type in, and you use this arrow button here to get down to the bottom when you're ready. 9.5 minus 5.73. When you press equals, you might get a fraction answer. This S to D button is going to make it into a decimal, and it's asking for it as a decimal. Now I need to write down all the digits that I get. So check that you've got the same as me. If you have one digit extra or one digit fewer, that's fine, as long as the digits you have are the same. Okay, write your answer to correct one significant figure. So that means I only want one digit in my answer, and then maybe some zeros. So I only really am interested in this 2. So 28, I could think of being between 20 and 30, because they've only got one digit, the 2 and the 3. The 0 doesn't count. And 28 is closer to 30, so I'm going to round it to 30. Question 21. Solve m goes in, plus 5 and 12 comes out. So if I use a function machine, I need to go backwards and take away 5. So 12, take away 5, and m must be 7. Solve 3n equals 36. So 3n we know means times 3. 36 comes out. So to solve it, I do the opposite thing. And 36 divided by 3, it's a calculator paper, remember, so if you need it, you can use it. And the answer is n equals 12. X divided by 5. So this is really testing. Do you know that that means divide by 5, that fraction sign? And 10 comes out. So to solve this one, I need to do the opposite thing, times 5, and 10 times 5, so x must have been 50. 4y plus 7 equals 13. So 4y means times 4 plus 7, so it's a double function machine with 13 coming out. And now I need to do the opposite things. So I'm going to do 13 subtract 7 is 6, and 6 divided by 4, now this is why it's a calculator paper, because that's a decimal answer, 1.5. Question 22. Ali asked 200 students which sport they liked best. They could choose swimming, tennis or athletics. The two-way table shows some information. Complete the table. So this is a bit like doing Sudoku. You have to work out which boxes you can fill in. This 79 here shows me the total who like swimming, and 36 of them are male. So I need to work out how many of them are female, and 36 add this makes 79. So I'm going to do 79 take away 36, and that must be 43. And then I could check these two. I could add them on my calculator and check they make 79. In the athletics column, 19 and this box must add to 54. So I'm going to do 54 subtract 19, that's 35, and I could check again, these two add up to 54. Now I've got 3 in a row, it means I can fill in this total. So the total males is 36, add 42, add 35, and that's 113. Now I know that the grand total was 200 students. So this box, add 113, must be 200. So I'm going to do 200 subtract 113, and that's 87. So those two add up to 200, that works. These 3 numbers must also add up to 200. So I'm going to add up the 79 and the 54. That gives me 133. But I need it to add up to 200. So I'm going to work out how many more I need to get to 200 by doing 200 subtract that, and I get 67 there. Then this box is left over, and these 2 numbers add to make 67. So 67 take away 42, that one must be 25. And just to double check I'm right, these 3 I could check and they add up to 87. These 3 I can check, add up to that. These 3 I can check, add up to that. And if I wanted, I could check the totals this way as well to be sure that I'm right. One of these 200 students is picked at random. Write down the probability, so we're looking for a fraction or a percentage, that this student likes swimming best. Okay, well the number of people who liked swimming best, the total number was 79, so it must be 79 out of, and then the grand total of people was 200, so it's out of 200. Question 23. On the diagram we've got a prism, and the arrow is showing the front of the prism. Draw in one plane of symmetry for the prism. So this means a prism, you can chop it anywhere and you get the same shape. So I could chop it on the front and I'd get this trapezium, on the back and I'd get this trapezium, and anywhere in the middle I would also get a trapezium when I chopped it. So I'm going to draw a trapezium in the middle, and I'm going to shade it in to show that I understand that is the shape that I get when I chop it anywhere. In the space below, sketch the front elevation from the direction marked with an arrow. So if I looked at it straight on this way, I would only see this bit because those bits would all be slanting away from me. So I would only see the trapezium that looks like that. Soap powder is sold in 2 sizes, small box and a large box. A small box contains 2 kilograms of soap powder and costs £1.72. A large box contains 9 kilograms of soap powder and costs £7.65. Which size box gives the better value for money? Explain your answer, you must show all your working. So this bit is really important here to show how I worked it out. So I'm going to use the cross for this one again. So I've got pounds and kilograms. So for the small box, 2 kilograms, so in the kilogram side, costs £1.72, so those are next to each other. I could work out how much it costs to buy 1 kilogram, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say 1 kilogram, how much is that? Divide and then times. So in my calculator, 1.72 divided by 2 times 1 equals 0.86. So this is telling me that it costs 86 pence per kilogram for the small box. Now if I do the same thing for the large box, which is 9 kilograms, cost £7.65, so they're lined up and they're in the right columns. How much does 1 kilogram cost, I wonder? Divide and then times. 7.65 divided by 9 times 1 is 8.5. So this is telling me that the large box is 85 pence per kilogram and the small box was 86 pence per kilogram. So the better value for money is the large box. And that's enough of an explanation there because I've shown all my working out. Okay, question 25. Describe the transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. So I've got to choose here. Is it a reflection? No. Is it an enlargement? No. Is it a translation? No. Is it a rotation? Yes. So there's 3 marks here. One is for saying rotation. The other one is for saying clockwise or anti-clockwise. And actually for this one it doesn't matter whether you've said clockwise or anti-clockwise. Because I have to give an angle as well. So I would try this with tracing paper. I've drawn it. Is it a 90? No, it's not. Is it a 180? Yes, it is. So I'm going to say 180. So 1 mark for rotation, 1 mark for clockwise or anti-clockwise on the angle, and then another mark. I have to say what the point is where I rotate it from. So I need to work out where the cross is that I have to put my pen before I spin it around. Now I've just tried that out with tracing paper and it worked for the cross being there. So I need this point to be my coordinate, and that has the coordinate 0, 1. Question 26. A computer costs £360 plus VAT. Calculate the total cost. Okay, so I need to work out how much the VAT is actually going to cost. So 17.5% of 360 of £360. So I'm going to do 360 times 17% as a decimal is 0.17, but it's 17.5%, which would be 17.5, so I need a 0.5 on there. So that's a calculator question. £63. So the VAT must be £65, and it says a computer costs 360 plus, so I must be adding on the VAT. So I now need to do 360 add my £63 VAT, which is £423. Question 27. The scatter graph shows some information about 10 cars. It shows the time it takes each car to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour, and for each car it shows the maximum speed. What type of correlation does this show? Well, if I were to draw a line of best fit, it would go this way. It would be sloping downhill. So it wouldn't be a positive one, it would be a negative correlation. The time a car takes to go from 0 to 60 is 11 seconds. Estimate the maximum speed. Now for this one I do actually need to draw on the line of best fit. So I need to draw a straight line going through as many points as possible and as close to as many points as possible. Yours will look a bit like that, not exactly like that, but as long as it's sloping that way and it looks similar, that's fine. And I need to look for a car that takes 11 seconds. So the time it takes on this one is 11 seconds. So I need to look at 11, go up to my line and then go across and read off from this one the number 121 maximum speed. Anything between 120 and 125 is a correct answer. Question 28. the length, a piece of wood is cut to 180 centimetres long. Tom cuts it into 3 pieces in the ratio 2, 3, 4. As soon as I see that question, I'm going to start drawing that diagram. 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 and 4 there. Work out the length of the longest piece. Okay, well I know 180 was the length, so all of these are 180 in total, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So I need to share or divide 180 by 9, which is 20. So each one of these must be 20. Now, drawing this diagram before I've even answered the question has probably got me 1 or 2 marks. Now, so this one that had 2 pieces has 20 and 20, so that one's 40. This one's 20, 20, 20, so that's 60. And this one is 20, 20, 20, 80. So the piece of wood was cut into 3 lengths, 40, 60 and 80. And that makes sense because it was 180 centimetres long, and these 3 pieces would add up to 180. So that's a good way I can check that I'm right. And it asked me for the length of the longest piece. Well, out of these 3 numbers, the longest one is this one. So on my answer line, I'm going to write 80. Question 29. The equation x cubed plus 2x is 60 has a solution and answer between 3 and 4. Use trial and improvement to find this answer. So trial and improvement just means try some things out and see if they work. Now I'm going to try out the value of x between 3 and 4. So I'm going to start off with 3.5 because that's in the middle. And it says here, give your answer to 1 decimal place. So I'll never try something like 3.55 or 3.52 because that's too many decimal places. Now I want to try that, so I'm going to get my calculator. I'm going to see if x cubed, my x is 3.5, so 3.5. My cubed button is here, the one with the little floating 3. So I've done x cubed plus, there's my plus 2, there's my 2. 2x means 2 times x, times, and x is 3.5, 3.5, equals, the answer I'm getting is 49. Too big or too small? Too small. Now I want the answer, look, to be 60. So an answer of 49 is too small. If it's too small, what do you think I need to try? A bigger number here or a smaller number here? Yes, a bigger one here. So I'm going to try 3.6. And I'm going to type in the same thing with 3.6. So 3.6 cubed plus 2 times 3.6. And I get the answer 53. I want 60. It's still too small. So I'm going to try the next one up, a bigger one. 3.7. And I get the answer 58. Still too small, but I'm going to write down what I got because it's getting close. I got that. So I'm going to try the next biggest one, 3.8. And when I try 3.8, I get something that's too big. I get 62.472. So 3.7 is too small and 3.8 is too big. So it must be a number between these two, but I'm only interested in 1 decimal place. So one of these answers is going to be the answer I put on my answer line, which is closer to 60, 58.053 or 62.472. The answer is this one. So I'm going to go with 3.7, and on my answer line I write 3.7.